Hello everyone, it's a beautiful day here in Northern California. As you can see, got the ocean doing its thing behind me here, so good backdrop. Might be a little bit noisy, but I'll try to talk loud enough so you can hear me. Today's topic is the economy and how tough it is out there. I was curious to see what the average wage, if a person was making an average wage in the city I live in, how they'd be doing right now. So I ran some numbers on it, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty shocking actually. As far as I could see, it would be impossible for that person making an average wage in the city of Eureka, California here in 2025 to actually live. And what do I mean by live? I'm just talking about having an apartment, a basic one-bedroom apartment, having a car, and just the basic utilities and food. I'm not talking about if they have any debt or anything like that. So this is kind of a hypothetical thing I ran. So let's take a look at it, because it's not good. And hopefully we could start addressing these issues in one way or another. But let's just jump into this. So these are facts about the economy in Eureka, California. So Eureka's a city of about 30,000 people here in Humboldt County, here in Northern California. It's where I live. And that's a very pretty city in parts. Other parts aren't so pretty, but it's on the bay. Matter of fact, about a mile and a half drive, I'd be right in downtown Eureka from here. So lots of natural beauty, lots of surrounding mountains and stuff. So it's a beautiful place to live, lots of positive things. So I don't want to paint a grim picture in that regard. But when it comes to just the economy and making it in Eureka, California in 2025, not good. So here we go. The average hourly wage is around $19.40 per hour. By the way, I got these facts and figures off the internet, so these are just averages. The minimum wage is $16.50 per hour. The exception to this is fast food workers, who earn a mandatory $20 per hour. $25 to $38 per hour is considered to be in the 75th percentile, and anyone over that would be considered a top wage earner in the Eureka, California area. So that's another reason why I started to dive into this, because it was like, I know that I'm considered probably a top wage earner. I guess I would be by these numbers. And me and my wife, it's not an easy task to even being a top wage earner to keep up with things. So what about the average wage earner? Let's take a look further. So that person can make at average hourly wage of $19.40 per hour. If a person worked 40 hours per week, that would equal $776 per week. This then translates into approximately $3,104 per month. If a person worked every day and every hour of the 40-hour work week and worked every week of the year, no holidays, no vacation, no sick days, this would come to a grand total of $40,352 per year. That is gross income, not taxed income. Take out the taxes for a single person making $40,352 per year. They will be taxed at almost 10% according to the online income tax calculator. This brings your actual usable income down to $36,698 for the entire year. That equals $705 per week of actual take-home pay. That is $141 per day after taxes. Keep in mind that this is based on working 8 hours per day, Monday through Friday, 40 hours per week, 52 weeks a year. In other words, working like a robot all year long. Hold on a minute, guys. The next page. Now it is time to take a look and see if working like a robot all year long actually gets you anywhere. Let's start with housing. Assuming the person is frugal and only gets a one-bedroom apartment in Eureka, this costs between $950 to $1,300 per month. The average between these two is $1,125 per month. So we will go with that average. It seems reasonable that a single person should be able to rent an average apartment with the average income. So, what percentage of their income would that be exactly? Well, in a 4-week month at $705 per week of take-home pay, their monthly income comes to a grand total of $2,820. It does not take a rocket scientist to see that paying a rent of $1,125 per month equals almost 50% of this person's income. It is approximately 40% of their income to be exact, and that's before utilities, before groceries, before gas, before anything at all. 40% of this person's income is gone in 1 month, working full-time, not missing any work whatsoever. Now, there is a small glimmer of hope for this hypothetical robot person. If they work every week of the year with no time off at all, the numbers are slightly better because some months have more than 4 weeks in them. So that would end up adding 4 extra weeks in a year's time. So this hypothetical robot person would have an extra $2,820 at the end of the year. He or she would not be able to take an actual vacation because that requires more than a Saturday and a Sunday and would throw their entire financial plan into a tailspin. But perhaps they could go to Disneyland for a weekend or SeaWorld. I'm sure that would make it all worthwhile. That is, if they actually get to keep that little cash nest egg. We haven't even got into the other basic expenses yet, and they're at 40% of their income just for rent. Now, let's get into the rest of their costs. A quick recap. Their rent for their one-bedroom apartment is $1,125. Their take-home pay is $2,820 per month after taxes. This leaves $1,695 per month for everything else. The average cost for utilities in Eureka, California is about $300 per month when averaged out over the year, conservatively. This is power, water, sewer, and garbage. A cell phone has become a necessity in our modern society. It is how everything is done, and everyone is expected to have one for work and basic functionality. A cell phone with the internet will cost at least $50 per month, not including the phone itself. Food is also a pretty hefty expense. Even for one person living very frugally, it would be easy to spend $100 per week on food, toilet paper, toothpaste, and all the other essential items we use daily. That comes to $400 per month, and I believe that those numbers are very conservative. Let's take these basics and add them up. $300 per month for utilities, $50 per month for the cell phone and the internet, $400 per month for the food and toiletries. This comes to $750 per month. Subtract from the remaining $1,695, and that leaves $945 per month. Now comes a basic vehicle, gas, and insurance. Most vehicles are financed for obvious reasons, so we'll go with that. What is now considered a reasonably priced car. That would be a car in the $25,000 to $30,000 range. The payment on this reasonably priced car would be about $500 per month. Insurance would be at least $150 per month, and at over $5 per gallon in gas, a person would not get too far before spending $300 per month in gas, especially if they have any kind of commute to work at all. The vehicle alone comes with the total cost of at least $950 per month. That leaves this person who is working full-time and living on a tight budget with a balance of negative $5 after paying the expense for the vehicle. That doesn't include oil changes, general maintenance, and any repairs the vehicle may need. That $2,820 nest egg that this hypothetical robot person would have hypothetically gained by working every week of the year, all 52 weeks, is quickly decimated by the maintenance and upkeep of the car. No trips to Disneyland for him or her. Quite the opposite. Instead of a trip to Disneyland, this person, working at full-time capacity, working for the average wage in Eureka, California, renting a basic one-bedroom apartment, keeping food and utilities on an extremely tight budget, no eating out, no extras of any kind, and no debt other than car payment. That's another important thing to point out in this situation. This person has no debt, no student loans, no credit cards, nothing except the car payment on what is now considered a reasonably priced car. Let me just recap this one more time for extreme clarity. This person has no debt other than the car payment. This person works at the average wage per hour for this area. This person rents a basic apartment for shelter. This person does a great job of budgeting for food, utilities, and any other basics. The only thing that this person can sacrifice is the car. There's no way they can have a decent vehicle. They might get away with driving a beater, but beaters break down and cost lots of money to fix. It would be tremendous luck to get a vehicle that did not financially break a person in this position. Having a car is almost out of the question for a person in this position because they would be lucky to break even with a decent car, but odds are they would start to sink underwater financially because they have not even paid out any money for health insurance or any medical bills, absolutely not a dollar in their budget for that. There's no money for any kind of emergency, let alone saving money. This person would be lucky to break even at the end of the year, let alone take a vacation or do anything extra. I believe they would be lucky to break even without a car when the extras and realities of life are factored in. With a car, it is a mathematical guarantee they will sink out of sight financially. They would have to take on debt just to survive month to month, and obviously that is not sustainable. To sum it all up, the numbers do not lie, politicians lie, economists lie, people who are invested in keeping everyone on the hamster wheel for their own personal gain lie, but the actual numbers themselves do not lie. The average worker working for the average wage, working full-time, no holidays or downtime, all year long, supporting only him or herself, renting an average apartment, paying average utilities and food costs, driving an average car, living a very basic life with no frills whatsoever, living on a very tight and disciplined budget, no mochas, no lattes, no nights at the movies, no nothing. This person, from a purely mathematical and logical standpoint, absolutely, unequivocally, and without any doubt whatsoever, cannot make ends meet in the city of Eureka, California in 2025, period. So, there you have it. Mathematical impossibility based on the numbers and the averages given by the almighty Google. And I would say they're relatively accurate given what I know about the area. There's lots of jobs here that are probably under that. Yes, there's jobs that are over that, but even for, people making $25 or $30 an hour, I'm sure they're struggling. And so realistically, apart from a 2 household income in any situation, even for a single person, I mean, is it any wonder that people are living out of their cars? Is it any wonder people are doing all these other things? And the housing, there's a crisis when it comes to affordable housing. No, it's no wonder. It's a mathematical, we just went over it. It's mathematically, it's guaranteed. They can't make it on their own. They have to find alternative methods, and that's just not okay. That you could come out and work, full time. Say you're, just trying to get out of the house and get started in life, and you're 20, 25 years old, whatever you are, and you come into a situation where you can't even make it working full time. Like, you literally have to work full time plus work evenings to mathematically make it. And yes, I'm using this town that I live in as an example because I don't want, to get caught up in the national averages and all that. But I suspect that if you did the same numbers for your city or town and took the average hourly wage and did all this same thing, that you would find a pretty horrifying picture as well in 2025. I'm sure there are exceptions across the country here and there, different towns that there may be exceptions, but I suspect that the numbers are are horrifying. Because I'm not gonna lie, I mean, as a top wage earner, I'm not saying I'm clueless. I'm just saying I didn't know how bad it really was until I actually ran the numbers. And when you see it, it's quite shocking. So I think for a follow-up for this video, I want to go ahead and start talking to some people in Eureka and on the street and stuff, and doing street interviews and you know, talking about the gospel and stuff as well. But yeah, it kind of inspired me to get out there and just dig more into this and look at what we could possibly do. You know, what are the possible solutions right now? You know, all I could see is people just having to do whatever they got to do, and a lot of times that is living out of their car or whatever, if they don't have family or whatever, you know, things like that. I think that the numbers of people who are living in these ways is probably so much higher than what's being reported, because they're not necessarily being seen. I know when I go on YouTube, you know, I do see videos of people who are 70, 80 years old living out of their cars. I mean, it's telling us, these are very telling signs of how bad this economy is, and yeah, it's not pretty. So during these times, we need to try to support each other in any way we can, and come closer together as communities, and you know, maybe we need to start thinking about community gardens and different things, different strategies, because we can't really rely on the same system that basically broke the average person and is breaking us down. Yeah, maybe things can get cleaned up, maybe the other answers can come, but right now, I'm just saying, for right in it, when we're in it, we're in what if this isn't a recession / depression, then I don't know what is. I don't care what they say in the government. You know, they want to sit there and say, oh, it's not that bad, the economy's not that bad. Well, how bad does it have to be? I'm not going to go, when I say the economy's bad, I'm saying it from the perspective of, in a good economy, or even a decent economy, a person should be able to go out, an average person should be able to go out, get an average job, earn an average wage, and get an average apartment and an average car and make it. If that's impossible, then how's that a good economy? How's that a healthy economy? You know, I don't care if some rich fat cat's making a bunch of money on stocks or whatever they're making. I'm just talking about the average people. If the average person can't make it with the average wage, that means the economy sucks. It means it's terrible. It means it's horrible. It means we're basically in a depression or a recession or whatever you want to call it. So let's call a spade a spade. At least, you know, we start there, call a spade, and, you know, start looking for solutions amongst ourselves as people, because I don't think they're coming from on high, or if they are, not anytime soon. But those are some of my thoughts. I just wanted to share this with you guys, and you know, I wanted this to be a more uplifting thing, but sometimes you just got to call things out and say how things are. And a lot of times finding solutions to problems is to look directly at the problem and acknowledge the problem, and then start, you know, finding solutions as communities and people. And like I said, I know this I'm doing just for this area here in Northern California where I live, but I just wanted to encourage you guys, yeah, go ahead and take a look, run the numbers on your area, see what you come up with. And I'd be curious, you could, you know, if you got some interesting ones, maybe I could share those later on here or whatever. But for right now, we'll call it a day on this video. I'm going to get a walk on the beach. That's free. Get a walk on this beautiful beach. That's obviously one thing. I think we should all be trying to get out if we can and do these free things. Good for the mental health, spiritual health. And it's tough out there. If you need prayer, need encouragement, whatever, let me know in the comments. But till next time, till next week, God bless you guys. Catch you on the next video.